You are now entering the LUXECORE Studios. And you've secured a seat for the Protecting Your Radius podcast. Here, we build connections from your contracting profession to some of the top bleeding edge products and services. Don't get deterred. Let's not delay. Here is your host, Nathan Downs.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Protecting Your Radius podcast. I'm your host, Nathan Downs, and on today's episode, we are talking about Season 3. We're talking about where we've come over the first year of having this podcast, this whole channel for social media, where we're going, a lot of format changes. So wanted to roll that out here. I know last week we had the big blitz, pretty much dumped everything we had from Fence Tech back to back to back. Great conversations. Hope everybody enjoyed that content out there. I know we had a blast hanging out with our friends, learning, getting better, looking forward to what 2024 has in store for each and every one of our companies. And that's really where I want to kind of take things today, because I don't think I appreciated from my friends that were already doing podcasts like Joe Everest, Dan Blanc, and Dan Wheeler, the amount of time, effort, and energy that this whole endeavor would take. But it really has taught me a lot. It's been fun from the perspective of having a new business and talking about where we're going, how we're doing things, how to make quick changes when you still can. And I just found a lot of personal value in these conversations and talking to people and asking questions and so on. And as many of you know, I feel like I'm a consummate learner. I always want to get better. I want to read books. I want to listen to podcasts. I want to challenge my own mind to be the best version of myself. And with that being said, I kind of feel like Cannon Johnson did a few years ago, whereas, I just want to focus on what I need to do in my business to take it to the next level. And to be honest, Cannon doesn't know this as I'm saying this, but I look at him as an inspiration for where we're at today to make a change across the board with what we've done. So the Protecting Your Radius podcast and Downtime with Donnie, as you know it, will be no more for now. Like, this isn't a forever thing. This is just a moment in time where we had brought on these great partners to really make all of this happen. This started with, and I've told the story from the beginning, but this started with Brett Richardson from Fence Track and Cliff Richardson from Stain Track. They approached me about it. They said, man, we love what all these guys are doing. We think you could do a great job. And they were my first cheerleaders to really push me through. Of course, I called my boys, kind of told them before I even got into it. I said, hey, I called Joe. I called both the Dans and said, hey, guys, I think I'm going to get into this. And Joe was already on the warpath of saying, hey, the market's ripe for this. Additional content would be good. It'll push us all through. And I think it has. I mean, there's been other podcasts, other forms of media that have spun off since we've all done this. But as those guys have figured out, or they're figuring out, in the three before me already knew, this junk's hard, especially when you're like myself with a young business. We have a lot of overhead. There's a lot of things riding on my shoulders. And I found towards the end of the year that all of the podcast stuff was just becoming a personal burden to me. And then on top of that, we were dealing with trying to set up interviews with people, and timeframes would change and all these things. And I'm already worried about, I need to get out bids. I need to do estimates. Like, my strong point of the business is me personally going out for now, going out and selling jobs, right? Meeting with clients, making recommendations, showing why we're the clear choice in the market for solving your problems with any type of fence, gate, automation stuff. So here we are. And after Brett and Cliff got with me, They gave me some money. I bought all the stuff for the studio, right? And then realized, well, I need a producer. So I enlisted my friend Rob Noble out of Oklahoma City and interviewed several different people. Ended up with Rob through another one of our mutual friends who you'll probably see more of on here, Mr. Kyle Sullivan with Unleash the Champ podcast and business coaching. And Rob and I hit it off. We've known each other, known of each other for years and years and years. I'm an Air Force guy. He's an Air Force guy. So there's a lot of continuity there. And then I realized that there was like costs beyond just the material. If you really want to make something substantial, and if anybody's figured out from this show, just as we did with the fence company when starting that, I can't ever do anything kind of. Like I have to jump all in to provide, to make it the best it can be. Even if it isn't the best, like I expect that by providing like for a football team, providing a facility that can cultivate like a culture, cultivate winning, cultivate all these things, right? And I immediately go, because today's Super Bowl Sunday, I was going to football in my own brain there. So that seems random. That's what's going on there. But then, I talked to Jeff Goodwin over at Southwest Automated Security. Had a conversation with him. He was all on board, familiar with the space, working with My Fence Life before that. And we knew that we were going to gear a little more towards the gate side because that was part of what I do every day. And they've been a great partner. Brooklyn and her whole team have just been phenomenal. Right at the same time, Cliff had called Roy Branch over at Wood Defender and was like, Roy, you got to get in with Nathan. We need to do this thing. And I talked to Roy, talked to the whole team at Wood Defender, and they were unbelievable. I mean, just a bunch of great friends. And actually, Brett and I, coming into later this year, we talked at Fence Tech. I would love, it looks like we should have some time to connect with him to do a full episode of who Wood Defender is, like where they came from, how they are, where they are today, that whole growth journey. Because it is incredible what Wood Defender's done in our market, what they continue to do, just innovate and change and just make things better. They have a great product and they only continue to improve it. It reminds me a lot of Ameristar, which is where I got into the fence business, right? You've got this baseline, this standard of excellence, and then you just continue to build on it, continue to innovate with it, continue to find other peripherals in verticals in your market to expand the company's reach and its influence across the board. And Wood Defender has been incredible on that end. So we continued having those talks, got Clever Fox down online. Benji, my boy, takes care of all of our websites and everything, brought them on board. Great asset for our company and for the podcast as a whole. And then, we just continued to plug along, to look for other opportunities. We saw many different people like the Mid-America Fence Supplies, some others that really wanted to get involved with what we're doing. And the feedback over time has been tremendous. But again, my true heart in where I'm at as a business leader is in my fence business, my gate business. Everyone knows that Randy Ward came here in November, and that was a long time coming. And when I say years in the making, I mean, it literally was years of recruiting Randy to finally make that happen. And looking where we're at, looking where we're going, it is incredible growth opportunity. And I had talked to many people out there about this, but I think I would do an injustice if I wasn't putting every ounce of energy into what we're doing with the quality of people that we have, and knowing that we're immediately in the point where we need to hire more and we need to expand our team. We've got the guys gearing up across the board. They're all talking to me about, hey, we want to really get things going. And the only thing that's lacking right now isn't the leads. It isn't anything else. We've done all the things that we need to do. The real thing where we're falling behind is getting the estimates squared away and then getting out there and making sure that we're continuing to deliver the standard of excellence that we've set forward before us. It's funny. I think I just talked another 20 minutes. I've come back in time now, realizing that my recording shut off. So I had all these really profound things that I shared. But I'm not going to go through all that again. We've got many more episodes in the future coming down the pipe that we're going to be able to share with you. But it's going to be different. Like I said, season 3, it's a new day at Radius. It's a new day with the Protecting Your Radius podcast, with Downtime with Donnie, all those things. So it's going to be a lot more raw. It's going to be a lot different. And one thing that I've never really pushed much, but I know would be a massive help. And when we were at Fence Tech, I'm not sure if this was already on the podcast, but there were so many people that came up and had positive things to say about the podcast. But then when I look at the analytics, I don't see it. If you're not downloading the show, it's very difficult to see these things, right? And I would love for each and every one of you today, especially with this episode, to go ahead and give us a like, rate the show. I think all the platforms have rating systems now. Just rate us. Leave a note. Man, just say something good, say something bad. Just say something. I really don't care. I just would love the feedback. It's hard sometimes sitting in the studio, talking essentially to myself, and in the back of my mind wondering, is what you're saying into the microphone being heard, and does anybody care? Because then when I go to Fence Tech and hear all these people, I'm like, I look at my analytics and I do not see any of this. But why that really excites me on the flip side is then I look at the partners that we had through year one, seasons 1 and 2, right? Fence Track, Stain Track, Southwest Automated Security, Wood Defender, Clever Fox Online, My Salesman, Mid-America Fence Supply, Rob Noble, right? All of our partners that we shared this journey with, knowing that there's so many people listening to this, y'all just need to leave a review and a message on there. So those partners can know too that what they invested in time, effort, and energy, how that's gone as well. So again, I'm re-recording the close. Surprise. We're trying to figure this thing out. I want to close. The final thought I want to leave you with is I'm going to wrap this thing up, put a bow on it. This is all about effort and energy. This is all about what energy are we taking and putting out there. And many of you are listening to this today. It's a Monday, the day after the Super Bowl. But Jim Rohn, it always sticks with me. Jim Rohn said 40 or 50 years ago that we're the product of the 5 people that we spend the most time around. And I wonder, looking back, yesterday during the Super Bowl, did you watch it with friends? Did you watch it with family? Did you watch it with those you're closest to? The answer is probably yes to one of those. But who are the 5 people that you spend the most time with? Are they people going somewhere? Are they people challenging themselves to be a better version of themselves? Or is it your old friends? Your family that never thought nothing could be done? Maybe you're some acquaintance that just can't ever seem to get their stuff together right. And you don't want to be that person. But again, if you're spending so much time with them, it's going to be very difficult to overcome that. And then I think about the effort side. It's the real reason that I'm changing the formatting with the show is because there's so much effort and energy that I could put into the fence business, in the gate business, but that I just don't want the distraction anymore. And when I say distraction too, some of you may immediately, and I hope nobody that listens to this show would do this, but some of you would go, well, I've got a wife, or I've got a husband, or I've got kids. I got these kids. I got this family. I got these people around me, my neighbors, all these things. They're a drag. They're an energy hole. They're a black hole of life sucking everything, right? And that's not what this is about. You have to be beyond that. We a lot of those things we don't choose. Some of them we do. But if it's things that you can't choose, like we don't choose our family, but we can control how we interact with them. We can control how we love them. We can control how we hate them. We can control everything. We have to control the things that we can control and look at where that effort and energy is and take that time back. If you're listening to this and know that there are people around you that are not a positive influence on where you want to go, you have to cut them out for a period of time. Doesn't mean forever, but you're going to have to cut them out. You're going to have to, you've heard me say it before, you've got to go on that 2-year run. My buddy Marshall Gudgel taught me when I was a young man. You got a 24-month period. You got to make things happen in business. You just got to do it. You don't have a choice. And if you don't do it, you may still get there one day, but it won't be the same. You have to use the momentum, and you have to then grow into it as you go along and not be fearful or get energy sucked away from that by things that you could have controlled. There's so much opportunity. I still believe that we live in a great country, that the economy can be what the economy is. There's success stories continuing to happen right now. I get it. Construction is tough right now. Februaries are always the worst for us in Oklahoma. It's just what it is. But I continue to look at what we have in front of us, what's going on, the activity, and 2024 is going to be huge. And I'm excited to really step in the game and concentrate wholeheartedly on that. And then, so as I mentioned, or I'm not sure if it cut off or not, if it was mentioned, but we're going to come in here periodically, maybe do monthly updates type deal, something like that. But it'll be in and out. It's going to be completely different formatted. Maybe like this, just suddenly, boom, cold open, here we go. Might have some long form conversations when things come up. I really find a lot of value in myself and Donnie and Randy all talking. I would love to almost even record some of our meetings as we're overcoming different challenges and talking about different, solutions to things. There may be opportunities to sit down and share those with others because we know that's not unique, right? We're all going to have challenges. We're all going to have things in front of us. But it's how do we overcome them? And if we can help one of you, man, that makes it all worth it to me. So thank you. Every one of our partners, again, thank you, especially back to Brett and Cliff Richardson for even coming up with this silly idea. And just continue to watch those feeds. Stay subscribed. You'll randomly one day may wake up and find the Protecting Your Radius podcast logo pop right up at the top of your feed. That'd be fun. So appreciate each and every one of you. We'll talk to you soon. See you.